if your fan base is politics, I would assume that they're smart enough to understand that an insult doesn't get your point across. So like what?
It's
Oh, her,
people
yeah,
don't
I
have
like
a
her.
principal attachment to insulting people. If it's your side, you'll make excuses for everything they do. That's true. And like, I mean, you can even see with the Israel Palestine, right? Like, as long as it's your side, they can do anything, and you'll make excuses for why it's based and cool. But if it's the other side, then you won't like it. Like, look at, like, for instance, like Hasan will say about how horrible it is to be a debate bro or to do debate bro things. But then when he argued against that Willie Mack guy or whatever, like, he'll use all the debate bro strategies. Like, people will always say they don't like a particular thing, but if their side does it, then they'll support it, which is how it goes.
I like Hasan.
I do too. He's a cool dude.
You know,
No, I actually do. I didn't like him.
genuinely
I
like.
didn't like him to
Okay,
begin with because I didn't really understand, but now I understand everything. I actually kind of like that guy.
okay, I'm gonna give you an actual take. I legitimately like the guy, as like a person and in a real life person. I think social media, both. I think put that into the equation, and me and him on our dynamic it doesn't work. But I genuinely think real life, just me and Hasan does work 100%. But you put just social media in the middle, and it's over. I feel so way about that. I think it's kind of sad, but in a way, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I felt like this as I've gone on more as being a streamer. I think that I used to think that like streaming attracted horrible people, but I think streaming just turns people into horrible people. Like even if you take normal people and you throw them in the streamer world, I think that like at the public everything just like with everybody really hard.
I mean,
I just wish that he let banter be banter, right? And let
let me play
slight jabs at nothing be such because every time that there's a slight jab at nothing, that doesn't make anything, it doesn't say anything bad, right? It just makes like a meme, right? It goes to the next level and makes it like something that it's not. And it's like now it has to be something that it's not by default. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but the issue isn't the jab, or even the person doing it. The issue is how fan bases respond. So like if there was like a comment where you and Hasan made a jab at each other, he might be able to deal with that. But then as soon as he sees people on Twitter being like, oh, did you see when XQC owned Hasan? Now he's going to be super mad about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but you do own him sometimes. That's funny. You should be able to. If you're going to go online and own people all day, and you're going to expect to get owned back a little bit, come on, it's PvP. Like,
what about the Discord messages? What do you think about them? The Discord messages that were leaked the other day, or from his Discord?
I mean, I think he's in like a really. I think streamers like they do these things for. Listen, you know this. You know in gaming how you can pick up, you can have a bad habit, and bad habits can get you very far. But then at some point you get skill capped on the bad habit, and in order to change it, you got to make a huge step back in skill. I think that a lot of streamers end up constructing worlds for themselves that for short term give you a huge gain, but then as soon as they start to hit the wall, rather than change the bad habit, what you do is you kind of like continue to maladapt it over and over again, and the slide, and then the slide back is like really difficult to deal with. So I feel like there are a couple things Hasan did that massively benefited him early on that are now hurting him, but I don't know if he can stop.
Like what? Like what?
I think that his unwillingness to deal with other communities, I think works when you're really large and you've got a huge fan base and you don't want to reach out and do anything else because why you don't need to. You're just giving them popularity, no free clout. And I think that works to an extent, but now he's in an area where he doesn't have any other connections outside of his like pretty narrow community. People think Hasan is really well connected. He's really not that well connected. They're thinking of like AOC in the Among Us period, but I mean like he's got some connections at Twitch and OTK and like some people that he could bring in from the real world. But like,
he's not well connected?
I don't think that he has like I don't think he's got like super good.
Let him talk.
Yeah, Jesus. I don't think he's got good like.
He's been talking this whole time. He doesn't stop talking.
Yeah, but he needs to finish your take though.
It's a dumb take. I'm allowed to say is a dumb take.
I finish your take, please.
Yeah, I don't think he's got good connections with like communities that he can collaborate with. He might be able to reach out to like a quasi celeb and bring them on or whatever, but I don't think he's converting a lot of that person's fans to his stream because those people aren't even stream viewers. And then he doesn't have like communities anymore that he can associate with because it seems like he doesn't collab with other big streamer communities much anymore. And then he lost his connection to Ethan, which was the largest community they could draw people from. So that's one part, is the unwillingness to collaborate with other communities, I think is now hurting him a lot. I think a second thing is his I think that he grew up really huge on a certain like political mindset, which is basically like this kind of weird far left doomerism tanky bull. And as that has risen quickly online over the past 3 or 4 years, he grew alongside it. But now as it started to slide, especially in response to crazy takes that far left people have been giving, especially in regards to like Palestine, Israel, especially in regards to like Taiwan and China, as that becomes less popular, Hasan's popularity is going to slide with that because he hasn't carved out his own unique like fan base. Like, now, I'm not trying to on him. It sounds like it, but like for instance, like if you go to your stream, even you're seeing like XQC's opinions. If you go to my stream, you see Stephen Bunnell's opinions. If you go to Hasan's stream, you're just getting like what is the progressive or far left take right now. Like that's it. I don't think he's got like much of a unique a view on things. So that's also like a benefit, but then also a con as time goes on.
He feels to give something that people don't have anywhere else, whatever. He feels to give the Hasan thing that people want the Hasan to people because people could just have a lot of other outlets that they get that take from because he just copies the in your words, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think his inability. I do think that his fragility, I think, hurts him a lot. Not just because he's fragile, but I think there's a special combination of. I think you can make it as being fragile, but there's a phenomenon called being a cry bully, and I think cry bullies are some of the most like detestable people online, and I think that's
like
hurt him a lot. Does Asman?
He does that sometimes. I think Asman isn't like that. But he gets into those cycles sometimes a little bit, right? And I think it does hurt him a little bit. But I think he's strong enough to overall not be that. But I think, and I do that sometimes, rarely. But I think everybody sometimes falls into that category depending on like what time of day or night they're having.
Well, when I say cry bully, I mean that like. In my mind, cry bullying is when you engage in a particular type of behavior that you hate and decry when other people do it to you. So yeah. So for Hasan, when he was like crying towards you and everybody else to control the audience because he was mad about getting a little bit of pushback, but then with Ethan, he was like basically laughing at him when Ethan was complaining about people promoting pictures of his wife, Palestinian children's, and like trying to dox his wife to figure out where she served in the IDF, and we're posting on like 6 different anti-fan subs about him. Hasan was like, I can't do anything about it, bro. I think that has nuked a lot of his losing the connection to Ethan was huge. I actually would have bet a lot of money that would have never happened. I never thought Hasan was that stupid. I thought he would have done everything to maintain that bridge. Yeah, I don't know. I think those are a few things that hurt him a lot. Yeah.
Right about this whole thing, but that's not even what I was asking. I was asking, how do you feel about his view on that, not the actual thing? Is I don't think he fell off or any of that. I was making news about that. I was just asking, like, what do you think about the behaviors he's putting it in the chat and things he was saying?
Where he's complaining about. I mean,
kind of got baited into pulling the ripcord, to be honest.
Wait, which ripcord?
The anti-Hasan ripcord, the Hasan ripcord. I kind of made you pull it on purpose, but it is what it is.
Well, careful. Hasan said that ripcord doesn't get you any more views, so. I mean, he's probably genuinely frustrated. I mean, right? His viewership is slipping. He doesn't see any way out. There's no way that he can realistically change content because his whole fan base just wants to see perpetual political shit. He probably wants to do like fun IRL, be more chill, because you've hung out with him in real life, right?
Yeah, but the thing with IRL is that like it's a thing that like it has to flow. Sometimes it doesn't flow. Even if the idea is good and what you're doing is good, like going to the sanctuary is good. If you don't have a flow and it's not flowing, right? Every small downtime tanks the entirety of the thing, right? That's just how it goes. It's a flow thing, right? And I think his IRLs are good. They're just missing some flow. Yeah, that's all. It's
no, I didn't even mean. I'm sorry. When I said you've hung out with him, I didn't even mean like on an IRL stream. I just mean like if you've hung out with him in person.
I got baited now.
No, you're fine. But I mean, like, because I think in person, I think Hasan's like a fun dude to like hang out with, even if you're just like doing whatever. Yeah. But I think they're like people's minds change. Well, I haven't hung out with him in person since before he became a much larger streamer. But I know that like people's brains will change when their eyes are like glued to that viewership number, and it's impossible for them to like relax and chill and have fun in real life if they're like so stressed about smaller viewership doing IRL stuff. And in my opinion, I don't know if you've seen anything different, unless you're a dedicated IRL streamer, IRL streams are always going to be worse for viewership, worse for subscribers, worse for donations, as opposed to just like sitting at your computer and streaming. And they're way higher effort, so that's like mentally exhausting too. Okay. I think, I see it because that's what he was complaining about, the lack of viewership on. But the thing is that like, even if you are doing like a cool thing like that, you got to consider what did you cultivate your audience doing, right? And if you cultivated your audience sitting on your computer and looking at news clips or going over political or whatever, people aren't going to tune in to watch you do something for 8 hours where there's like maybe an hour's worth of actually exciting stuff. Like anytime, like XQC said, if there's like any downtime or you're just like chilling and like looking around or you don't know what's going on or you're not like turned on 100% for it, like you're already doing something outside of your wheelhouse. So the viewership's naturally going to be hurt because of that. So now you've got to bring it back up by doing something extremely exciting. You've got to be really personable. You've got to have a lot of fun and be like super in the zone and everything. It's just, I think that's almost impossible for people that aren't like already IRL streamers to do. I just think it's really, really, really hard. I don't know.
I'm curious. I'm going to look this up.
I'll make a prediction and maybe I'm wrong. I won't make a prediction, but like, I wonder if he gained a ton of viewership here for the first hour and a half of his stream, and then he thought it would carry over. I wonder if his viewership was the highest at 1 hour and 30 minutes into the stream.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that.
Let me check. I'm just curious.
That-
I could be
that-
completely wrong on this.
It's why I hate viewership. I don't look at it. I don't have it. I don't think it because it takes away from the flow, right? Because if you look at it, if you do something good and the viewership doesn't represent it, right? Then
Depends how you look at it, though. It depends. How you look at it.
Then you kill then you kill that, right? Because you might be on something good, but if it takes some time for things to build, and then you get discouraged, and then it gets in your head, don't do that. Have fun. Do your thing, bro.
Do you think this
That's how I
was
see it.
on the 25th? Is that this stream? So if it would have started at 11:30, an hour and a half in would be about 1 a.m. Oof. And you see it. That is the peak right here at 1 a.m. I agree with what you're saying, but it looks like what Hasan did at the beginning of this stream is he's trying to build hype for the IRL stream, but he's building the hype doing his traditional content, which is sitting at a desk and like doing like politics and like viewing Twitter and like that. So he builds an initial viewership doing this, and then he's hoping that that momentum will carry over to his IRL stuff, but it doesn't. As soon as he hops in the van, he bleeds a ton of viewers initially, over 1,000, maybe 2,000, and then they just kind of like slowly bleeds for the rest of the day until he's.
You sound way
Really?
too happy about his fall off Destiny. You sound.
Well, yeah, I hate him, of course, and he's like a political enemy.
Wait,
so.
really?
Yeah, but I'm just analyzing the stats right now. I'm not
You
like
don't
I'm not
you don't
loading
hate him,
this.
though, right?
Yeah, I think he's an
Hate
evil
him.
person. Yes.
Jesus.
Really, you actually hate him.
Yeah, he's like a rape apologist terrorist supporter. Yeah, of course. He's an evil, disgusting person. But this is just
Yeah,
like
but you
number
can't-
analysis. I'm not like loading
You
this.
can't win a
emotionally. I'm
debate
just
if you
saying it.
hate somebody. You know that.
Okay.
Man, you guys are off your rockers, huh?
One thing I think would help too, and I think this would be the most important thing that Hasan can do. And something that XQC says is like if you can't handle the numbers, you shouldn't look at them, because one thing that streamers aren't capable of doing is they're not capable of having different viewership goals in mind. Like there's just one number and that's the highest they've got, and everything less than that is horrible.
That's brain dead.
It is, and it's so unhealthy, because if you want to branch out and do any other type of content, and I've seen so many streamers, I know YouTubers, I know people that get caught in this loop, is you say, I don't want to do this content for my whole life. I'm going to do something different. So you go out and you do something different, and you don't immediately get the same viewership as your last thing. Then you run back to that last thing, but it's a little bit lower than before, and then you get stuck in a death spiral until now you're like, well, I guess I'm done. I'm retiring.
Bro,
Yeah.
it's why I always tell people about people being battle tested in their career or whatever. And I don't like being analytic, Andy, and tell people like and prescribe them stuff or whatever.
Yeah, they don't listen anyway. So
it's fine. But the way I see it is that's how you're like battle tested, right? Is when you kind of build that thing where things you know what you're doing regardless of like these like a little sign, these polls, and you don't feel any way about them, right? Because you've done it enough times, right? Something that was very good for me, right? Is me and Mox at the time we used to play Overwatch, right? We'd get like 10K, 15K viewers every day, right? We play variety for like 3K viewers, but we did it every single night. It didn't matter what we did. I'm in an Overwatch, right? We wanted to do variety, wanted to switch. Every day we would invest into variety, 3K viewers, whatever. And people would say fall off, washed up, and they would make fun of us in the chat. Who cares? We're building something, and that matter.
True.
And we've seen the depths like of being absolutely washed up in that period of time every time, and we kind of build that shell. And at all points, like we know what we want, we know what we're doing, and we know what the process is, and we don't get scared, and we don't. If we get into the water and it's immediately cold, we don't. Oh my god! No, we gotta go back. What are we doing? You don't have that, and a lot of people that these days that kind of make into streaming, right? They haven't built that, and unfortunately, it crushes them. They get demolished by that.
Yeah,
and
you just have to
they quit.
Yeah, you have to trust yourself a little.
You're on.
And Hasan's
You're
got
on
like
a
such a huge head start, and he's a funny dude in real life. He's obviously super attractive. He's got like a ton of friends he can hang out with. He just needs to trust himself a little bit more and like start doing IRL streams and just accept that like, yeah, bro, you might get like 11,000 viewers, but like, bro, it's 11,000 viewers. It's not bad. Like but you have to be willing to build it. But I think the issue is what's going to happen is he's going to do this, and now you've seen him mauled like crazy in his Discord, and then he's going to go back to just doing the old politics streams. And then remember, he just complained, wow, I've built a certain type of audience, but now he's literally audience captured, because he's going to go back to doing these politics streams so he can get the viewership that he has before. And then in a month or 2 or 3, he'll try to branch out to IRL again, not get the viewership he wants, and then he'll just death spiral. That's what he's been doing for the past like 2 years, basically. Yeah, he just needs to have like the confidence to like, oh, like I'm just gonna like do this and I'm gonna let it roll for a while and then see if the viewership grows. Like it probably would, but he needs that confidence for it.
I appreciate that, Destiny.
All right, bye. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.